And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College Tornado athletics. Glad you're able to join us this evening. Another exciting show on tap. Do want to take you around the world of BC athletics before we get into our first guest. Big week here in the mountains of Western North Carolina as the USA Cycling Collegiate Mountain Bike National Championships right here in our backyard, about a 40-minute drive away at Ride Rock Creek, which is in Zirconia, North Carolina. That action is Thursday through Sunday. Hope you can make it out there and check out this exciting sport of collegiate mountain bike racing. Brevard, one of the top teams in the nation. And to kick off all that, tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. right here on the campus of Brevard College at Tornado Alley, which is right in the center of campus. You're welcome to join us in person at 12:30 p.m. when we preview the national championships with a special press conference with coaches and some of the top student athletes. That event will also be streamed on the YouTube channel for Brevard College Tornadoes. Football had a big weekend, a 49-28 win over Southern Virginia. Very impressive conference win there to improve to 3-0 in conference play. Next up for the BC football team, a trip to Methodist in Fayetteville, North Carolina. That's 1 p.m. this Saturday. So best of luck to the Tornadoes football program. We'll have a couple of the coaches and student athletes on the show shortly as well. Men's soccer, a 4-2 win over Pfeiffer. And that was followed by a dominant 5-0 win over Mary Baldwin, which included a hat trick by Ryan Lynch, who went on to be named the USA South Conference Offensive Player of the Week. Next up for the Tornadoes men's soccer team, back to non-conference action with a trip to Charlotte on Wednesday to take on Johnson & Wales. That's a 6 p.m. start. Volleyball had one of the more impressive wins in recent memory, a 5-set win over a very formidable Greensboro club at the Bosch last week. A lot of excitement around this volleyball team this season. They'll be back in action tomorrow, Tuesday, 6 p.m. at the Bosch when they take on Warren Wilson in non-conference action. Big weekend for cross country at the Royals Challenge in Charlotte, North Carolina. We'll be talking some cross country later in the show as well as they continue to gear up for the USA South Conference Championships. Mark your calendar, Saturday, October 28th for those in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Women's soccer had a big win, 4-0 over Salem this past week. And we'll be back in action versus Pfeiffer on Wednesday at Islamel Family Field. That's a 5 p.m. start for the Tornadoes women's soccer team. And with that, we're going to bring in our first two guests of the evening, as joined by head coach Juan Mascaro, also associate head coach Juan Mascaro Jr. Gentlemen, how are you?
Doing well, Phil. Thank you.
Yeah, doing great, Phil. Thanks for having us.
Very good. Well, Coach Mascaro, would love to start sort of like where we're at right now. You know, the conference schedule underway. You know, we're a good 5 matches into the conference schedule and had a tough match this weekend, a rematch of that USA South Conference game from 1 year ago. Catch us up kind of, you know, now that we're in the middle of conference play, where we're at with the Tornadoes women's soccer team.
Yeah, I think, Phil, well, we're standing in the standings. We're tied for third place. So we feel pretty good about that. I think there's some games that, we always look back and some games you could have done things a little bit different and probably get a win here and there. But the game that we played this past Saturday was just a phenomenal team effort. I think the team played probably the best game overall in the whole season. We've been able to put great halves, but maybe not a great first half or a great second half. But against Southern Virginia, it was first and second half was very well executed. I think we did everything that we had to do to come up with the result. But soccer is that way. The ball bounces one way and it doesn't bounce your way, and you lose 1-0. But I think the team had a phenomenal effort.
Coach Mascaro, one follow-up on that as far as the Southern Virginia match. Was it in the consciousness of the team as far as, last year's USA South Conference game and, just how tight that was and so forth going back up to Buena Vista?
So I think that for some of them, yes, and for some of them, no. For the older players, juniors, sophomores, and seniors, sure. for the new kids, they didn't experience that. And then some people can let it go sooner than others. For some of us, it's harder to let go sometimes. But I think for some of them, it really was.
Yeah, Juan Mascaro Jr. joining us as well. And Coach Mascaro Jr., as I reflect on the results so far this season, I can't help to notice a bunch of shutouts, a bunch of one goal, allowed type performances. Speak to the strength of this defense. We're going to have the goalkeepers on the show as well in a bit, and just how that's just been a steady part of this year's success.
Yeah, I mean, it's always very encouraging when you're preventing teams from scoring. I think it's not only the back line. I mean, they've done a really solid job, protecting their goalkeeper, and then our goalkeepers have made some really brilliant saves to help keep the score low or preventing the other team from scoring. But I think it's overall a group effort, starting from the top all the way back down to the goalkeeper. I mean, just everybody understanding their defensive roles and executing their defensive roles. So I think everybody has a really solid understanding of what's expected to them on the defensive side of the ball, and we've been able to execute that pretty well throughout the season, which is why we've had really low score lines against us, and we've been able to score quite significantly as well. But yeah, I mean, it's been a solid team performance, and we're really happy about that.
And then it seems like when the offense is clicking, Coach Mascaro, it's really clicking, because, I look back at that 4-0 win against Salem, some of these other performances with these huge shot totals and that kind of thing, where it's almost like, an onslaught of tornadoes, shots on the other team's goal. That game, that we mentioned, Abby Mayer, Grace Black, Hillary Schmitz getting in on the action, even Channing Barker with a goal as well. You got to love all those contributions.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we'll get goals from anybody, even from our goalkeepers. But yeah, I think that when we're on, and sometimes soccer is it's one of those sports that sometimes you can outshoot your opponent. It happened to us against Meredith. We outshot them 20 shots to like 3 or 4, and we just couldn't put one in the back of the net. And it's not for the lack of effort. It's just it happens. But I think that when we're on and our midfield can connect with our forwards, I think we do a pretty good job. And we have players that can finish. And that's something that all teams would like to have.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And Juan Mascaro Jr., another observation is a deep team this year, seeing a lot of contributions from the reserves, and a lot of, different players on any given match, seeing action and that kind of thing. I'd love for you to speak on the depth of this year's team and how important that is to the overall success.
Yeah, I mean, it's a luxury for sure. We've noticed other teams in our conference aren't as deep as we are, and that helps us out because we can change personnel, bring in fresh legs, or sometimes just switching up the people that they're going up against will really unlock that space that we need to score a goal or create a play to create a chance. So it's definitely a luxury that we have, and we're definitely using it to our advantage. So we're definitely really lucky to have the personnel that we have, and it's definitely has helped us keep the squad fresh, especially this late in the season. It's helped us win some of these games that we've had in the past. So again, definitely an advantage for us for sure.
Yeah, and you mentioned this late in the season, it's kind of upon us already as far as crunch time in the USA South Conference, and it begins this Wednesday, Coach Mascaro, with a matchup versus Pfeiffer, 5 o'clock at Isla Mel Family Field. Hope we can get a big crowd out there for that one. Pfeiffer's a team we've got a long history with. The two familiar teams as far as the Tornadoes and the Pfeiffer Falcons. Coach, what can we expect on Wednesday?
A win. I think that we can expect the win. I think that we understand as a team the importance of that game. I think we are focusing on that game and that game only, and that's the only thing we have in our minds is Wednesday Pfeiffer and getting the win, getting the 3 points. to put us in a better position on the table. We're not even thinking about anything else but Wednesday, and then we got to get through that. Pfeiffer, I've seen a couple of games, film on them, and it's going to be a good opponent. So we're going to have to be on. We're going to have to be on all cylinders, and we're looking forward to a good game.
Yeah, a 2-0 win at Pfeiffer last season. Juan Mascaro Jr., in particular, this Pfeiffer Falcons opponent, it's been a tough one over the years for the Tornadoes, but did get that 2-0 win last year. I'm sure you're giving them a look from a scouting perspective as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've reviewed the video. Their record on paper, is a bit misleading, because even though they're not doing well and the results aren't going their way, I mean, they're going to be a hardworking team. They're going to be a challenging team. They're going to be, they're going to come out and ready to compete. And so we're going to have to match that energy. We're going to have to continue working hard. In our conference, really anybody can beat anybody on a given day. It's a very competitive conference. So we have to be ready to, like Coach said, to turn up, all cylinders firing, and ready to score goals and ready to get that win and get the 3 points, and then continue, making a case for ourselves so that we can, finish as high as possible and hopefully host that first round in the conference tournament.
Very good. Yeah, big matchup on Wednesday. Hope the fans can come on out. 5 p.m. versus Pfeiffer at Lamel Family Field. Well, coaches, if you can stick around just a few more minutes with us, love for you to stick around for the introduction of the student athletes we have on tap for tonight. It's kind of a unique, angle we're playing with here, as Abby Nunez and Nicole Arroyo are here. In fact, hey, we're getting 2 for the price of 1. Like, they're both in the same, video box here for us as well. So great to see Abby and Nicole here on the show. Let's start with you, Juan Mascaro Jr. These 2 goalkeepers, you've worked with them quite a bit. Tell us about them.
Yeah. Nicole is a returner. She's a sophomore this year. We've seen a lot of growth, like really significant growth from her the second year that she's been with us. I mean, she was solid last year. She's put in solid performances this year, so definitely really pleased with her. And then Abby has been a really nice addition to the team. Obviously she can score them as well as she can stop them. So that's definitely, another luxury that we have. And she's developing really well, though the games that she's played in, she's done well. And so it's really encouraging. And for us, we feel really safe with them in the goal. And it's nice to have 2 really solid goalkeepers, holding it back there.
Coach Mascaro?
Phil, aside from they are being very good goalkeepers, just their personalities are great. They're just great kids. Funny to be around for sure. Keeps us on our toes. And we love them both. They're great. They're great kids, great goalkeepers. They always like to compete, which is good. You always have, when you have 2 players competing for the same position, it's kind of hard, but they get along extremely well. And we have, we're so deep in every position, even in the goalkeeper position. We have 4 goalkeepers, Mackenzie Lozano and Zoe Hughes. They're great goalkeepers as well. So I think we're very deep in that department too. But with those 2, with Nico and Abby, they're just a fun group to be around.
Very good. Juan Mascaro, one last one, just for the sake of our audience, because if you come out to a BC women's soccer match, you'll see something pretty unusual, which is goalkeepers taking free kicks, and even resulted in a goal recently from Abby Nunez. Can you tell our audience a little bit about this, sort of phenomenon with the Brevard College women's soccer team?
Yeah. It's not common. You don't see it often. We decided to do it this year, and I can't take credit for inventing this. Obviously, the first one that probably started doing this, it was a Paraguayan goalkeeper that I think has the record for most goals from free kicks. So goalkeepers have a tendency to have a pretty good leg because they take a lot of goal kicks, a lot of punts. So we said this year, we have 2 pretty good ones that have a pretty good leg. So let's just try it. And we're very intentional about it. So every time we have an opportunity for any free kick, we let him take it. They sometimes need to get to the goal quicker than they do, but that's okay. We're working on that. But I think they do a pretty good job.
Very good. Yeah, look forward to talking to Nicole and Abby about exactly that, amongst other topics. Coach Juan Mascaro Jr., we'll see you out on Wednesday at Isla Family Field. Best of luck this week.
Thank you, Phil.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Phil.
it.
All right, there they go. And as the coaches helped introduce these two, Nicole Arroyo and Abby Nunez have entered the program. Nicole, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Phil?
Doing great. And Abby Nunez making her Tornado Talk debut. Abby, how are you?
Good.
All right, very good. Well, why don't we just start with what that topic that we were talking to Coach about at the end there, which is this idea of the two of you taking free kicks during the game. From up in the press box, I absolutely love it. It's one of the coolest things I've gotten the chance to witness on a soccer field. Obviously, it's a big part of the team's success and also what you guys are trying to accomplish on the field. But the last thing I'll say before I turn over to you all and what it's like to take free kicks and be a part of the offense like that is my favorite part is the sprint back to the goal right afterwards, because it's like you guys are just booking back there, which is understandable. Like your net's empty. So Nicole, let's start with you. This idea of taking free kicks and what's that been like for you?
So actually, this is like my first year really taking free kicks. I've never taken free kicks, club, high school, it was always like the field players taking it, and it was never me. So I really do appreciate Coach giving me that opportunity, because, it shows that he has a lot of faith in me, which makes me feel good about myself. So.
Very good. And Abby, what has it been like for you? And I must say, Abby's also actually made one of those free kicks. So we'll get to that in a second. But just overall, what's the experience of taking free kicks and being part of the offense been like for you, Abby?
I think it's really exciting, because as a goalie, you don't have a chance to score ever. So it's like a chance to put you in, give you a shot. And I in high school and club, I took a lot of free kicks and stuff. So I've kind of always been a little bit, so I'm a little more used to it. But I think it's just exciting. It makes you feel like you are part of the entirety of the team. You're also you're playing offense and defense. So it's I don't know. I think it's fun.
Yeah. Well, in this game versus NC Wesleyan, Abby, you actually found the back of the net, with a free kick. Take us through that. What was that experience like?
Well, so he tells me we had been practicing them in practice and everything. So I knew he was gonna tell me to go up if it was in the right range. So when he tells me to go up and I'm I get ready to kick it, and I kick it, and then I'm running back and I'm turning to see if it goes in, and then I'm wait, what? It just went in, and I just it was I was shocked, because he's don't look and go if it goes in, start running back, so I'm running back and looking at the same time. But yeah, it was just it was surreal, and then everybody's running to you.
Yeah, so Nicole, you were probably in the bench area naturally. What was the reaction like in that group?
I started tearing up. It was almost it was a mom moment, because we literally our coaches, they kind of we practice this at practice all the time. All the time, every free chance we get, we always do them. So for it to see it live, right in front of me, I just oh my God, I got chills. I was jumping up and down. I was in disbelief for the entire game, the entire halftime, giving her a little pep talk. It was a good thing to see. Very good thing to see.
Awesome stuff. I appreciate you guys kind of bringing us behind the curtain there. So let's talk a little bit about what it's like to be a goalkeeper on the Tornadoes. Coach mentioned there's 4 of you. And you go out to a Brevard College women's soccer practice, and it's the 4 of you are sort of doing your own thing a lot of times, and obviously grow, I would imagine, very close and know each other and how to challenge each other and that kind of thing. What it's like to be part of that goalkeeping group and the camaraderie that you all have there, Nicole?
So I think, JJ and Sally, and I'm going to mention Sally, because Sally has been training us recently.
Sally Riggin, assistant coach.
Yes. So I just think that like the four of us really make it like special. It's so fun. It's always fun. Like when we have the chance to like have those sessions, it's always so fun. JJ makes it a great experience, and so does Sally. So I think like with the four of us, it's very competitive, and we're keeping each other on our toes all the time. But it's not like a really negative competition, because competition could get negative, but it's always very positive with us. It's never negative. We keep each other like, for example, if Abby kind of sees me, she knows that I'm having like a bad day or bad practice. She's always keeping me hype. So I think it's good for the both of us just to have that sort of competition, like a healthy competition with us. So
Very good. Abby, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, like we're all tight. We like it's just a good time. Like there's never like bad energy really. It's always good. Like I at one point, I like it was Nico and I at trainings because the other keepers were injured for a short amount of time, and like even then like it's always like up. We're always picking each other up. Like that's when her and I got really like close. But like we're all close and we're all like it's like a
good,
family. It's like
yeah.
a little like a goalie family.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. And well, and part of that too is, and you know, people watch soccer and they see the goalkeeper make, you know, the saves and dive and, you know, punt and hit the goal kicks, and in your case, free kicks and all these things. But you also have to be very close and trust your defense, the defenders who you work so closely with. Tell us about that a bit, Nicole.
So I've already worked with Abby. I already worked with Haley and Autumn, but there's one that's brand new to the center back position, and that's MK, and she's just doing phenomenal. I trust everybody in my back line, and for her to come in, I gained the trust just like that with like a game or two. She's doing amazing. My back line, I owe it all to them. I think we're second in goal against average. I think so. And that's because of them. They work very well together, and
Very good. Abby, anything to add to that as far as, you know, how important the defense is to you, a goalkeeper?
Yeah, it's super important, and I'm so grateful for Abby. At least like as a freshman coming in, like she's like always been there. She's like, if you have any questions, like talk to me, like don't be afraid to yell at me. Like she made me feel like because she's so welcoming that it made me like it helped me be able to like form a relationship with the whole back line, which I think we're all like
a lot of trust.
Yeah,
with
there's
all
like
of us.
And you have to build that trust in a really short amount of time because you have preseason and then you're playing.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Abby, Channing, all of them, like they've all been right.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Very good. Abby Warzencroft, Channing Barker, several others you all mentioned as well. Great stuff. Well, would like our audience to learn a little more about each of you and sort of your, you know, tell us about your soccer journey. You know, when did you get started, how old you were, and then eventually how it, you know, made its way to where we're at right now, Brevard College women's soccer team. Nicole?
So I think I started playing when I was like 5, and it was on and off because I was playing like other sports like basketball, golf, like all of that. And I honestly started playing goalkeeper when I was in like middle school, like 7th grade, 8th grade. I kind of just got put in there as like, oh, we don't have a goalkeeper, why don't you do it? So it was like one of those, and I just learned along the way, and I had great coaches, and I didn't get into the recruiting process until like really like the end of my junior year, like going into my senior year. So I'm really blessed that Brevard gave me an opportunity, and I'm happy where I'm at.
And while Nicole's from Yulee, Florida, in the Jacksonville area, Abby is from Homestead, Florida, down in South Florida in Miami-Dade County. Tell us about your soccer journey, Abby.
So I started playing when I was 5, and then I kind of like told my mom like soccer is not for me. I'm like I didn't want to play at 5 years old, and which was like kind of like
Interesting,
right.
Yeah.
And then I would in 4th grade we were like playing in like recess, and I was like, nope, this is it. I'm in love with soccer. I'm going to play soccer forever. This is my life. So I started playing like in club in 4th grade, and then throughout high school. And the coaches reached out to me, and I came for a visit, and I was like, yeah, like this is it. Like I felt so welcome. Coach had a really long conversation with me, 6 hours, and I was like,
yeah, it was an easy pick.
Yeah.
I saw the area.
I was like
coaches,
and like, cause like I was like Florida, like Florida.
Yeah,
like, you gotta get out of there.
You gotta get out of there.
Get out of there. You gotta see some cold weather, which by the way, it was cold today.
It was really cold today.
It was cold today.
It's kind of different for us Floridians.
Oh, I can relate. Trust me. I'm from down there as well. So I'm glad we've all made our ways up here to the mountains of Western North Carolina. Before we wrap up with each of you, tell us a little bit about academically what you're working on. Nicole?
So currently right now, I'm an exercise science major. I'm not really sure like what career path I want yet, but like growing up, I always wanted to become an athletic trainer. Like seeing what Noah does, that's genuinely what I want to do. But like maybe later on in the future, like a physical therapist or anything like that, just somewhere where I can deal with athletes, because I think that's just like my dream and my passion is just being surrounded by athletes, sports, anything I can get, I'll do it.
Very good. And Abby Nunez, a freshman, have you selected a major yet, Abby?
I'm interested in becoming like an exercise science major as well. That's what I'm gonna select for my major. I really like in the future, like I want to be a firefighter, which you don't need a degree for, but I wanted to play soccer. But I also like I could see myself being an athletic trainer as well. Like the end goal is like kind of like helping people, like in that way. So yeah.
Outstanding. Well, just thrilled that each of you found your way here to Brevard, North Carolina, Brevard College. It's been so much fun watching the women's soccer team. Can't wait to see what's next Wednesday versus Pfeiffer. How about before we go to shout outs, how about a pitch to any students, anybody in the area? Why should they come on out and see you guys on Wednesday? Nicole?
Because honestly, we are 3rd place right now. We're tied for 3rd place. And these games, these next 4 conference games, I believe, very important. We're going to put our head down and grind. And I feel like it's going to be a good game just because, we need these points. So, yeah, I think that it's going to be a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in this game, really. So.
Abby, I see you nodding your head.
Yeah,
does it help for there to be a big crowd out there cheering you on?
Yeah, it's definitely like to hear like people like, especially like when you hear people saying your name, you know, like it's like dang, like
which our student section is really good with that. We have like our little like chants. I don't know if you hear it, Phil, but you have these like little like set chants. It just gets you so hype. So I love it.
Very good. Well, before we let you go, do want to give you each the opportunity for any shout outs or thank yous. It's kind of a tradition here on Tornado Talk. Nicole Arroyo, the floor is yours.
I have a couple. My mother, my father, I love them so much. So shout out to them, my brothers and my sisters, and Hayden, Domingo, my boyfriend, and my roommate, Mo.
Very
good. Abby Nunez, same opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, my mom. I love my mom.
Miss Stephanie.
Yeah, Stephanie Nunez. She's the best woman in the whole world. That's pretty much it. I love her. Yeah.
Shout out to our team and our coaches. We love you guys.
Shout out to Sally Riggin, who's been really like mentoring us.
We like to talk about Sally because Sally has nothing to do with the goalkeepers. She kind of gets thrown with us and she works with us all the time. So I appreciate it so much, Sally.
And we look up to her so much.
We love her.
We love her so much.
Awesome stuff. Well, I think you guys have done a wonderful job here on Tornado Talk. Keep up the good work. Can't wait to see you back in action, Islamel Family Field. We'll see you Wednesday versus Pfeiffer. Great job tonight. Thanks for joining the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you.
All right, there they go. We're going to switch gears quickly from women's soccer to football as we're going to bring in a couple members of the coaching staff and coming off a big win versus Southern Virginia. As coaches Connor Sampson, Ladarius Wiley, it looks like reporting in from the athletics field house where the Brevard College coaching staff does so much hard work during the week. Just some background on these two. Connor Sampson is the pass game coordinator here at Brevard on the offensive side. Naturally, he's the quarterback's coach. Then Ladarius Wiley, co-coordinator of the defense, handles the pass game on the defensive side, the pass game coordinator, and then also worked closely with the defensive backs. Coach Sampson, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great. And Coach Wiley, thanks for joining the program.
Thank you for having us.
Well, it's great to have you coming off this big win over Southern Virginia, and I remember talking to Coach Kyatt during the week, and he was telling me how, the challenge of scouting this team, facing this team, and so forth. And Coach Sampson, let's start with you. Big day from the offensive side of things. 7 touchdowns were scored. For the 49 points. Obviously, the offense delivered. But tell us about sort of the mentality going into this Southern Virginia matchup, and then you all hitting your marks.
Yeah, I know. Going into the game, we knew we were going to run the ball a little bit. We're kind of starting to find our identity as an offense a little bit. It's more of a run game and then play action off of that. And that's kind of what we did against Southern Virginia. We got Chance going, and then that just opened up the pass game for Beamish.
Yeah, huge days for both Chancellor Lee Parker and Ethan Beamish. And Coach Wiley, the defensive assignment was defending this spread option. Kind of a different look than often what we see here in the USA South. And, other than a couple of, opportunities off of turnovers and that kind of thing, I thought the defense played great throughout. Coach Wiley, tell us from your perspective, this Southern Virginia result.
Yes, sir. It was just what we preached throughout the week, and that was just us having the discipline to just do our job throughout the game and for longer than our opponents. Just make sure with this triple option that we had a pitch man, we had a dive man, we had a quarterback player, and if everybody did their job, that we would like the outcome. And I think that's what we ended up doing on Saturday. Very
good. And, next up is this trip to Methodist, and, now 3-0 in the USA South Conference, another big USA South Conference matchup coming around the corner here. I know it's early in the week, Coach Sampson, but, tell us a little bit about, maybe from the coaching staff's mentality and, the practices they had this week. What does Methodist week look like?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a good opponent, in-state opponent, a rival opponent for us. This is one of our recruiting battles that we deal with in this in-state battle. Very well coached, athletic on the defense. They got some guys. So, I mean, we're going to have our hands full. If we just play Brevard football, I think we'll have a good chance.
Coach Wiley?
Yes, I think it's about the same, just doing our job and playing our style of football. And I think if everybody's doing their 111, everybody's doing their job, we'll like the outcome. We can scheme, but the players make the scheme come alive. So it's all about the players doing what they're coached to do. And then, we'll always like the outcome when the players do what they're coached to do.
Very good. Well, do one more on, both of your, sides of the ball. And we'll start with Coach Sampson. The one thing I'm noticing as much as anything, I'm noticing a lot of, great things with the Tornado offense, but Beamish has a lot of different targets that he uses. It's a deep receiving core, and there's a lot of different options there, and seems to be, different games. It's sort of a different guy and that kind of thing. We're seeing guys like Reggie Taylor II just sort of bust out and so forth. I'd love for you to comment on that, Coach Sampson, as far as just the the variety and the different opportunities that are here for this offense.
Yeah, I mean, we're very fortunate to have a deep wide receiver group. We don't have to really get stuck with one guy. And Beamish does a great job of spreading the ball around to all these guys. I mean, whether it's from Douglas to Orr to Jackie Spots we got plenty of guys that can make plays for us. And it's just a credit to Beamish and going through his progressions and not getting stuck on one guy. I know it's easy to get stuck on Orr because he's one of our top guys. But no, credit to Beamish for getting through his progressions and just getting everyone involved.
And Coach Wiley, similarly on the defensive backside, you've got Jock Pledger, the graduate student, who's just sort of an absolute rock there on one of the corners. But at some of the other positions, we've seen quite a few different guys, make some big contributions.
Yes, sir. So I've been blessed with a lot of depth, a lot of leadership at my group, and a lot of guys that can make plays. The biggest thing is guys that found ways to add value and to play multiple positions. So I have guys like, Bowman, who will be here shortly, that can play both safety and linebacker. I have guys that can play nickel and safety, and then corners that can also play nickel and, likewise. So it's just guys adding value, playing different positions. And then the leadership amongst the DBs has been really big as far as stopping the pass and showing up to the pass game.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Well, one topic I want to make sure we get to this evening is this, super unique, but also, just so beneficial, the relationship between the USFL and Brevard College football. I mean, it's really a unique deal when you think about, NCAA Division III football, and, the fact that Coach Kyatt and Coach Bayless, for 2 straight seasons have been part of coaching staffs over at the USFL. Now, both of you have been on the playing field, in the USFL and so forth, and have had this experience, of your own in the USFL. Love for each of you to kind of tell this USFL journey, how it, brought you here in some ways to Brevard College, and then, how this experience of you all playing in professional football, coaching in professional football as a staff, and now bringing it to the student athletes here at Brevard. Coach Sampson?
Yeah, so this all kind of started. I really didn't know Kyatt too early with the Maulers. I got to know him kind of halfway through the year. And once I got to know him, he was an incredible guy. Kind of was telling me about Brevard College football. I didn't really know too much about it, but he was like, hey, he kind of saw me and how I operated in practice a little bit. He goes, hey, I think you'd be a good coach someday. And I was like, yeah, when football's done, that's kind of what I want to do. And he would keep hinting at me about, hey, come to Brevard, come try it out, just see what you think. And hey, I'm here, and it's been a great opportunity. It's perfect because in the spring you go play football, and then in the fall you're staying around football. You're just seeing it from a different perspective now. And I think it's going to help me and Wiley's game when we go back in the spring of just you're playing it, and then you see it from a different perspective, and then you're able to go apply that next spring.
Well said. Coach Wiley?
Yes, sir. I think it's a bit of the same. With coaching, it's all about relationships. And I actually didn't have a relationship with Kai, but I had a relationship with Coach Bayless, the GM, and our defensive coordinator. And through his words on Coach Kai, that sort of let me trust, that I could come here in the fall and coach. And I took the chance, and, I'm here for year 2. And I felt like I owed it to these guys to come back and to see if we can go to that next level. But I think it's very unique to have a coach because it's very uncommon to have a coach that still plays. You coach them in the fall, and then they're able to watch you in the spring. So they're able to watch your games, and they sort of critique you too. Like, the things you coach them up on the fall, they call you out on it in the spring. But it's very unique because, you have coaches that play at a high level in the USFL. So we know the position. We've done it personally. And I think that says something to our athletes that they can trust what we say because we put in the work ourselves to sort of put them in the right position.
Well, you mentioned you all playing professionally, but I do want to mention each of your college careers too, because they're substantial, and there's, learnings there that I'm sure you pass along to, the student athletes that you're coaching now here at Brevard College. Starting with Coach Sampson, a prolific quarterback at Western Illinois, was a second-team All-Missouri Valley Conference performer. Played against teams like North Dakota State, absolute juggernaut, up there in that part of the country. Coach Sampson, tell us a little bit about your college football experience, and again, like how that's translating to today you being a coach.
Yeah, so I think once again, just kind of how Wiley said it, it all goes back to relationships. I came in as a freshman. I was traditionally going to college to play baseball, and last second I got a football scholarship to Western Illinois and built a great relationship with my head coach named Jared Elliott, who's at Ball State now. Didn't play my first 3 years, kind of sat the bench, was a backup for those later years, and then finally my junior year, I got my first start, and I loved every second of it. Had great guys around me. The coaching staff was unbelievable. And then senior year, and then I actually got the COVID year as well. That's when I kind of started to break out a little bit. And they kind of expressed like, hey, maybe you have a shot at the next level. And luckily, after a great senior year, I had a short stint with the Detroit Lions, and that kind of led me to where I am now.
Outstanding. And Coach Ladarius Wiley played at Vanderbilt in the Southeastern Conference, 32 career starts at defensive back, an outstanding student athlete, 4-time SEC academic all-conference, Arthur Ashe Jr. Sports Scholar Award winner, and 2 degrees from Vanderbilt, a bachelor's degree in medicine, health, and society, and then a master's in education. Coach Wiley, I feel like we could have a whole program on your resume here, but just that experience of playing in the SEC, what an experience that had to be for you. Some of those stadiums that you would roll into and the competition you'd play, the coaching masterminds that, you got to encounter and that kind of thing, not to mention, the environment you had yourself at Vanderbilt. How has that helped you be a coach here at Brevard?
Well, it helped me, one, as a better coach, knowing the mind of a student, because I've been able to go through the roller coaster of, not starting, of getting injured, of starting, of playing in the biggest stadiums, winning big games like against Georgia, losing close games, like everybody knows about our Alabama game, everybody likes to joke around about. But I know the highs and lows of being a student athlete. And then one, I know the pressure that comes with it because I've played in the biggest stadiums. I've played against the best teams. And then thirdly, just the wisdom that I've learned from not only my former coaches in the SEC, but the coaches that I played against. So I think my grasp and my football IQ was definitely heightened during that time the most, which has helped me as a coach, because I think that's the one thing that we leave with our players. One, with football, is the football IQ and the knowledge of the game, because, they want to learn something. These kids are eager to learn. But then two, that you're able to understand what they go through outside of the football field. And I think that's with, academics and their everyday lifestyle. And it's different when you have a coach, that walked the halls like you did and was able to juggle, schoolwork, was able to juggle extracurriculars, and was able to juggle football at the same time.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Appreciate both of those answers there. Now, as far as Brevard College goes, now that you both have settled in here, you've gotten to see what Brevard College football is all about under head coach Bill Kyatt. You've gotten to see what the area of here in the mountains of Western North Carolina is all about, and you've got to see Brevard College as a campus. Small, intimate college with a lot of benefits for the students who come here. You guys are also on the recruiting trail and that kind of thing. I'd love to hear from each of you what you've learned about Brevard College and what makes it a good fit for so many of the student athletes out there.
I mean, it's unique for me. I'm originally from Ann Arbor, Michigan, so this is a huge culture change for me. I love the mountains. I love every second of it. I actually just told my girlfriend, hey, we probably should move down here at some point, not to North Carolina, but somewhere down here, because it is absolutely beautiful. But yeah, I've loved every second of it. I think it's a great place. It's a small town, small campus. You really get to, once again, it goes back to relationships. You build great relationships here, and at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Coach Wiley, in your second year here, so you've seen even more.
Yes, sir. So I actually got time to explore a little bit of the waterfalls last year towards the end of the season, and it's unmatched, just the scenery. I'm from Los Angeles, California, so, we don't really see trees and nature and things like that. So just to be able to come out here and to have that change in pace, the just calm and peacefulness of the city is very new to me, and I've been able to appreciate that. Plus, the closeness of this environment from the school, it being a small school and it being very close-knit, I think it's something that I've appreciated over the time.
Very good. Well, Coach Connor Sampson, Coach Ladarius Wiley, really enjoyed having you each on the show this evening as we head towards Methodist, a big a conference matchup coming up this week, trying to keep this thing rolling 3-0 in USA South Conference play. Can each of you stick around a couple more minutes here? We're going to bring in a couple of student athletes who I have a feeling each of you's familiar with here, as we'll effort into the program here in just a moment, as looking to find Ethan Beamish. See if we've got Ethan Beamish. Yes, and there's Q Bowman as well. So we've got them both there. Gentlemen, let me just do this. Let's a little bit of housekeeping. If you can adjust your camera just a little bit so we get you a little higher up in the frame, that would be great. There you go. Awesome. Well, coaches, let's start with Connor Sampson, because obviously you work very closely with quarterback Ethan Beamish. Tell NATO Nation, tell our audience, maybe something they don't know about Ethan Beamish, watching the streams, watching the games and that kind of thing, but also just overall, what kind of quarterback, what kind of leader, obviously Ethan's been for us here.
Yeah, he's a pretty special kid. Lucky to have my hands on him. extremely knowledgeable about the game of football. That absolutely helps. And obviously he's very talented, as we all know. So yeah, I'm just very fortunate to have a kid like that. It makes my job pretty easy.
Very good. And Quintrell Bowman is here as well. And Coach Wiley, obviously this is a student athlete you're very familiar with from all the time you put in with those DBs. Tell us about him.
Bowman, that's what we call him. Bowman. But Mr. Bowman, he's a special guy, just off the field and on the field. Him on the field, having the football IQ to learn throughout the game. I'll just talk about this past game. We ran the same play twice. One play he was supposed to hug the quarterback, he didn't do it. The next play he did, and he got a sack. So just being able to learn throughout the game from play to play and to make plays. And then just him being coachable. And that's one of the best things as a coach is to be coachable. You tell him one thing to fix one thing, and he fixes it. You don't have to come back to that because he fixes that one time. So he's been a great guy to coach, real easy, quiet and subtle. But I think that's just his leadership style. And I think guys sort of gravitate towards that because he gets the job done. And the last thing that I said about him, I know I'm getting long, but the last thing is, with our defensive scheme, we talk about just being Clark Kent, and he's Clark Kent. And when he does his job, he turns into Superman. And that's how I end with Mr. Bowman.
Wow. Outstanding stuff. I'm putting all this in my notebook for, an upcoming broadcast. Great stuff.
Yes,
Coach
sir.
Connor Sampson, Coach Ladarius Wiley, really appreciate you joining Tornado Talk. Best of luck this week preparing for Methodist.
Appreciate you having me.
Thank you.
All right, there they go. And as the coaches helped introduce these two, we've got Ethan Beamish and Q Bowman in one spot here. Ethan, how are you?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Doing great. Quintrell, how are you?
Pretty good. How about you?
It's great. Great to be talking some football with you guys, and especially coming off a 49-28 win over Southern Virginia this past weekend. Most single game points since 2017. 7 touchdowns scored by the Tornado offense, and Ethan Beamish, who's joining us, the quarterback, career high 300 yards on 18 of 28 passing, 4 touchdowns. Ethan, tell us about Saturday. Whenever you see 7 touchdowns scored by an offense, things are clicking well. But from your perspective as the quarterback of this team, talk about Saturday versus Southern Virginia.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. It was probably our first time getting everything rolling. At the same time, being able to run the football pretty well, being able to protect up front, guys being able to get open down the field. Coaches did a good job scheming them up. So it was good to see everything finally come together like we wanted it to.
Yeah, and Ethan, one follow-up there, a couple of back-to-back 25-yard passes to, start the game, go ahead 14-0. And then I just want to fast forward a little bit to that 75-yarder to Reggie Taylor, his second of the day. Love for you to take us through, those big play touchdowns in particular.
Yeah, the first one to Orr in the back of the end zone, getting up to the line of scrimmage, we kind of knew that we were going to have it. Got the look that we were hoping for. And then the one to Reggie, the first one on the 25-yard line, just kind of wanted to get out of my hands fast. I knew that he was going to roll and go get the ball. And then the third one, same deal. I mean, Reggie's a fast kid, and he's going to be able to go chase the ball down. So I just wanted to put it out there for him and give him a chance to go get it, and he did that and then some more.
Well, we hit on 3 of them. Might as well talk about the fourth one as well, which was a big touchdown, also 27-yarder to Adam Douglas. Take us through that one.
Yeah, just what a play by him. It was in the air. Didn't even know that he caught it until probably 5 seconds after he got up. So I was excited to see him get one and fight through the pass interference right there.
And Quintrell Bowman with us as well, big part of that Tornado defense back there on the defensive backside of things in the secondary. And Quintrell, you guys, I was watching the defense perform on Saturday, and it was excellent. There were some turnovers that put you guys in some bad spots, and that Southern Virginia capitalized on, but you held them to just 7 points in that first half, just 7 points in the third quarter. They scored a couple, late ones, that kind of thing. And, the defense was clicking as well, just as the offense was putting up 7 touchdowns. Tell us about the Southern Virginia game from your perspective, Quintrell.
From my perspective, it's just like how Coach said, all of us just did our jobs and everything went how we planned it. It was that's basically it.
Yeah, it's executing that game plan, correct? And people don't realize, Quintrell, and I'd love for you to tell us like just how hard you guys work on exactly that during the week. Like you guys are doing it over and over and over again, correct?
Yes, we just running the same calls over and over during practice, making sure we get it right. Waking up at 6 in the morning for meetings, making sure everybody know what they're doing. So yeah, we just need to keep doing that for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and so far it's been paying off. 3-0 in the USA South Conference. One more for you, Quintrell, as far as the on the field side of things. We talked to your coach, Coach Wiley, a little bit about it. What's it like to be part of this, defensive back group, this secondary unit with Coach Wiley, but also, the different group of guys you got there?
It's fun because we all different, but we all good. Like Coach Wiley is teaching us everything. This is the best I've ever been at football because he's put so much knowledge into our heads, and everybody's all taking in what we can and getting better together. So it's just real fun.
Yeah, great stuff. Ethan Beamish with us as well, the sophomore out of Simpsonville, South Carolina, transferred to Brevard from Limestone. So making your Tornado debut, and just a sensational season so far. The numbers for Ethan Beamish are just outstanding. But tell us a little bit, Ethan, as far as you're making your way here to Brevard and how you're enjoying it so far. Not just the football side of things, but being a part of the community here at Brevard College.
Yeah, so coming out of high school, I had a few conversations with Coach Kyatt just about, the school, and he recruited me a little bit. I decided to go to Limestone, played my freshman year there, ended up tearing my shoulder up a little bit, so I took a year off, and then just had the desire to play again, and reached out to Coach Kyatt. We kind of got talking again, got recruiting again, and came up here on a visit and realized that I did want to come play football here, and then came in the spring, had a semester of here. And, I love it. I like the small school atmosphere. I like the people and being able to, like Coach Sampson said, just build relationships and meet new people and just enjoy the mountains. It's a good time.
Very good. And Quintrell Bowman with us as well. He's a junior defensive back out of Roxborough, North Carolina. Tell us a little bit about your journey, Quintrell, and, how you wound up here at Brevard.
Yeah, that's a crazy story because I didn't think I was going to play college football until a teammate here, Quintrell Holloway, came to my house for July 4th. And he gave me Coach Hoff's Twitter, and I made my highlight tape and sent it to him the next day. And then that's how we started talking, and that's how I got here. Wow,
it's amazing how some of the recruiting stories happen behind the scenes. Great stuff there as well. Well, we're about midway through this conference schedule, 3-0 start so far, hitting all the marks in terms of the conference play. Big one versus Methodist this week upcoming. Ethan, what's going to be the key for the team as a whole heading into Methodist this weekend, getting another W and beyond?
Yep. Just making sure that everybody's preparing every single day, just preparing the right way, doing the right things. Methodist is going to be super competitive. They got some guys over there. They got a good coach staff around them. They're going to do things the right way, and they're not going to lose the game. So we got to go in there and beat them. We got to just make sure that we're doing things the right way, being able to run the football, being able to protect, being able to throw the ball, and hopefully defense will be able to do what they did this past week and get us the ball back a few times and capitalize off that.
Yeah, tight one last year. Brevard came out on top 22-20 over Methodist. And Quintrell Bowman, every USA South Conference game, you got to bring it. And this is a big one for you all this week at Methodist, correct?
Indeed. Every game is a playoff game now. So we just need to do our jobs, just like Ethan said, and prepare accordingly. Every time we play them, it's been a battle.
Yeah, no doubt. So it should be a good one. 1:00 in Fayetteville, North Carolina, in case folks are making the trip to see the Tornadoes take on Methodist. Well, before we let you go, would like to take it from the gridiron into the classroom. Ethan, tell us a little bit what you're working on academically.
Yeah, I'm a physical education major, and whenever I'm done with school, I kind of want to get into the teaching and coaching realm of it. It's like I know I heard Coach Sampson say it earlier, but I coached quarterbacks at Dorman High School last year in Spartanburg, and just being able to see the game from a different perspective like that really does. It changes a lot of things for you. Just I think the way you prepare is a little differently, the way that you do all those things are differently. So I want to be able to give that back to other kids and hopefully help them develop and achieve all their goals that they're hoping to do.
Very good. Quintrell, Bowman, what have you been working on academically? What are you majoring in?
Yeah, I'm an exercise science major. I think I just took that path because I'm already in tune with my body and knowing how to take care of myself, like telling people they can be more healthy and stuff like that. So I just think it's the best path for me to take for the rest of my career.
Very good. Outstanding programs here on the academic side at Brevard College. Well, it's been great having you each on the show. Congratulations on the start to the USA South Conference season, to the for the big win this weekend against Southern Virginia. Just a dominant performance there, both sides of the ball. But before we let you go, do want to give you the chance, any shout outs or thank yous, anybody you might want to, just give a little hat tip to, who's maybe helped you along the way. You might be watching this program, who you just want to say what's up to. The floor is yours, Ethan Beamish.
Yeah, just all former teammates, coaches, family. Obviously, they've been super helpful along the way, whether it was extra training or driving somewhere or something like that. So definitely want to thank them. Definitely current teammates, fans, coaches, everybody that comes out of the games and supports. That's huge. You saw the Maryville game. Just being able to have that atmosphere here was big time for us to be able to pull that one out. So just everybody in Brevard's awesome. Like I said earlier, it's a small town community, and that's big time for us.
Awesome. Quintrell, shout outs, thank yous.
Yeah, he said everything. Just my teammates and coaches that's maybe be as good as I could be, and all my family that's pushed me to be the best I can be.
Quintrell Bowman, Ethan Beamish, two critical parts of the success for the Brevard College Tornadoes this season, off to a 3-0 start in USA South Conference play. Thanks for joining the show. Good luck this week at Methodist.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
All right, there they go. We're going to switch gears quickly here as we're going to head to talk some cross country as season's coming down the stretch here, coming off the Royals Challenge in Charlotte this past weekend, and Coach Darryll Patrick has joined the program. Coach Patrick, how are you?
Doing well, Phil. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Well, tell us a little bit about this past weekend. It was one of these Friday evening deals, I believe, in Charlotte, North Carolina. I know it was a course that a lot of the student athletes were excited about getting back to because there's some familiarity there. Tell us about the event and how the team looked this past weekend.
Yeah, start with the meet itself. Queens University hosts it. They host a couple meets this season, and both meets are really big, both collegiately and high school. High school runs the next morning, and they host really well run meet. So we start with the women. Really excited for them overall. I thought we saw a really jump improvement with the team. It's a very fast course. A lot of good competition. So they started out the meet at the Blue Race. So they went out and competed, had some PRs as well. So very excited for them. Sandra Martinez, she really stepped up big and is starting to really blossom into a runner. I think she's starting to really understand longer distance running. She's more of a mid distance runner in track. So she's starting to really put it together. And then Zoe Capps, as well as being consistent, strong throughout the whole race. And we have a little bit of injuries pushing through. So our ladies were able to push through and compete. And I was very proud of them overall. And then with the men, they were in the gold race, which is the faster race. And so the men were really excited to showcase what they got. And so overall, I thought they competed well. I think we left some time there. They could have gone a little bit better than they might have hoped, but overall, I still am very, very pleased with their effort with the race. Put themselves into a good spot coming into conference here in the next 3 weeks. So we're just now we're back to training hard for these next couple of weeks, and then get right back to it.
Yeah, it's interesting talking to coaches from different sports, and more often than not, at the end of the day, it's the conference championships that everyone's gearing up for. And, we've got cycling heading to the national championships this week, and you talk to the coaches there and they'll say, hey, everything is about just peaking at the championship level and that kind of thing. And I'd imagine that's the same for the cross country team. Can you expound on that a little bit, and how, the meets during the season sets you up for that, but also this, this last push in terms of training?
Right, exactly. So, no matter what happens, what we call the regular season, regular races that we compete in, yes, they want to improve their times or run some PRs. But at the end of the day, it's about running when it matters, which is the conference championships, regionals, nationals. So, a lot of these student athletes, they train, starting June 1st, start running and building up their mileage, their training. And then when they get to me in August, we start really fine tuning them and building their engine some more. So, kind of early part of the season, we call it kind of training through races, where like not necessarily fully rested. You're still a little tired, kind of training, like pushing through. But overall, like that's what everyone's aiming for, is what matters when money time, right? Just like in any like clutch moments and any other like sports like football, basketball. This is our time to really clutch up and run fast.
And really exciting for the Tornadoes this season, the 2023 fall season. When one looks at the roster, you can't help but notice the senior class strong, and been here the whole run for a lot of them, no pun intended. Devin Broadmeyer, who we're going to have on in the show in a bit, Dawn Hawley, Justin King, also a senior, Garrett Spangler, Zoe Capps on the women's side. That's a deep senior class, and I'm sure they're ready to go out with a bang, this conference championships.
Oh yeah. We've always had this goal in mind since their freshman years, to really, perform well at conference. And so 4 years have gone by very quick. And so now we really need to seize this opportunity, and they've been locked in honestly since summertime. So I'm very thankful for them. Sucks seeing them go here in a little bit, but I'm definitely treasuring these moments and pushing them as hard as we can for each other to hopefully get that conference championship. So that's what we're looking forward to.
Yeah, exciting opportunity for the seniors, but also exciting opportunity for a number of freshmen who are new to the cross-country program as well, and their first taste of collegiate cross-country running. Tell us a little more about the freshman class, and also, how they're doing as far as their progression.
Yeah, I'd say like it's definitely a learning curve for the freshmen. Shay Granger and Aiden DeJesus, Tim McGabe, and Jake Thomas, on my men's side. They've, early on they felt the training, they felt the workload. But now those two, Aiden and Shay, they both ran some big PRs this weekend. So I think they're starting to really get it. And then on the women's side, new experienced runners, Victoria Sylvester, and Zoe Porter, those two, they're just really learning the sport. And so each race they're just naturally going to get better and improve. So yeah, I'm very excited to see where they're going, where they're training. So, hopefully, they can come out and run well, obviously towards late in the year, step up, but definitely looking forward to see how they do these next 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, exciting stuff, and great to see that blend of veterans and freshmen. Do you notice that as far as the upperclassmen? How much are they guiding the freshmen along and showing them the ropes, and maybe even just the terrain around here at Brevard College?
Yeah, I from what I see, it's every day. They're showing them something. Like when we're running new trails, they'll show them a new route, or just training in general and how to recover or make sure you're eating right, all that kind of stuff. Just kind of getting really ingratiated into college, honestly. And so they've done a really good job with that. Very, very pleased with overall of how they're handling it. And yeah, because again, they want to be successful, not just as individuals, but as a team. And so they know it takes everyone to train well and push each other, especially during workouts. So, prime example, last week we were doing a hard session, and one of the freshmen was having a good workout, and Garrett was just saying, "Hey, you're running well. Come on, keep up with me." And so it was very good to see, and we hope that can continue.
Good stuff. Coach, if you can stick with us just a moment or two longer, we're going to invite in a couple of the runners from Brevard College into the program, Zoe Capps and also Devin Broadmeyer. Coach Patrick, before we let you go, two of your seniors, help introduce these two to Native Nation.
Yeah, I'll start with Miss Zoe Capps. She's from nearby here, right down the road in Hendersonville, North Carolina. I've been very fortunate to be coaching her for 4 years, and she's been hardworking since the moment I started coaching her. She's one of those that if you tell her to take a day off, good luck. She wants to always keep running and push herself. So, she's willing to lay it out all there on the race. So, and then we have Devin Broadmeyer from, we say Atlanta, Georgia. He's in the streets, very, very happy to have been coaching him for 4 years, and he's one of my first real recruit. These two were my first real recruiting class here at Brevard. So again, it's going to be bittersweet, but he's also been one that has really bought in since day one. He might be a goofball most of the day, but when it's time to get serious in workouts or in races, like he's locked in. So very happy to have been coaching these two.
Very good. Well, thanks for joining the program, Coach Patrick. Best of luck in preparation for those conference championships coming up, and we look forward to seeing you around campus.
All right. Appreciate you. Thanks, Phil.
All right. There he goes, Coach Darryll Patrick. And he helped us introduce these two, and we've got in the lower box on your screen, Zoe Capps. Zoe, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, Phil.
Yeah, great to have you back on the show. And also Devin Broadmeyer making a return to the show. How are you, Devin?
Good.
Well, let's talk about this past weekend. First of all, Coach talked about it a little bit as far as this event in Charlotte that goes off every year, and you all have some familiarity with it, with this course and this race and this environment and so forth. A ton of runners enter this thing in Charlotte at the Royals Challenge, and Zoe, 49th place out of 180 runners. You're up in the higher percentage, when there's that many runners for sure. Zoe, tell us about your race and, the overall environment there for the team.
It was a fast-paced race, definitely. It's a good course. It's very flat, and it's cool to be able to run with that many runners because they kind of pull you along in a way. It wasn't my best go around, but I'm keeping my head up and hoping that the races to come will be good.
Yeah, no doubt. It's got to be an interesting dynamic with that big of a field and 180 runners in that women's race that Zoe was in. Meanwhile, Devin, if I'm reading these results correctly, 275 runners in the race that you ran in, that gold race, which, like Coach mentioned, of the two races that day, it was the faster field. Tell us about your day, the Tornadoes day, running in that gold race.
Yeah. Going to these bigger races is always a cool thing to see because you get a race against D1, D2, and whatever you call it, all kinds of fields. So it's cool just going out, seeing what you can compete in such a big court, like such a big field, because we don't have a field that big all year round. So, and it's definitely fun having it on a fast course. That just adds to it. But yeah.
Yeah, and with that meet, really the conclusion, like Coach called it, the regular season, and the big one's coming up in a few weeks, and we've got basically 3 weeks, I would imagine, from you all's perspective to prepare for the USA South Conference Cross Country Championships in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Zoe, tell us from your standpoint, from the team standpoint. What are your goals, these next few weeks in preparation, and maybe tell us a little bit behind the scenes, feel free to get specific in terms of things like mileage and all of that. What's it look like these next few weeks preparing for the big one, the USA South Conference Championships?
Well, preparing for conference, we have to cut back our mileage a little bit. So I'll be running 65, 70-ish miles, and to prepare
a week, right, Zoe? Is that right?
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Okay.
Yep. And we just have to do we have specific workouts. Like we'll work on different energy systems. So we'll do some speed workout, which I really need to do the speed to get those fast twitch muscles moving. Then we got some more endurance workouts that'll help us with that base of being able to compete, because the women's side, we've just competed in 5Ks thus far this year, but we're going to do a 6K for conference. So I'm excited about that.
Interesting. Interesting that they added a kilometer there for the women's side on the conference side of things. Devin Broadmeyer, tell us what your next few weeks are going to look like.
Yeah, it's really just honing in on all the little things, like getting that speed work in, getting the freshmen ready for having a big race like this. Like, it might not be a big field, but it's definitely like the most important race we've had all year. So just getting mentally right and ready to race.
Now, we talked to Coach about it. It's each of your senior years, and so this is big time as far as this opportunity here with the conference championships and so forth. And I hope you're just soaking up every moment of your senior year. Really a fun time. But Zoe, well, let's start with you. Like reflecting back on your time here at Brevard College, and here you are as a senior. What does it mean? And how does it feel to be a senior cross country student athlete?
It's interesting feeling, because I knew I'd make it, but at the same time, knowing that I've come this far, it just feels strange. And looking back over the years, I'm so glad I chose Brevard because of the trails and the people I met, and it's been a great experience.
Devin Broadmeyer, member of that senior class as well. We talked to Coach a bit about it. There's kind of this whole group of you guys, on the men's side of things, who's been there since day one. That arriving as a freshman. Can you put it in perspective now that you're a senior, and what the whole journey's been like, and what it feels like to be a senior now?
Yeah, it's definitely bittersweet. We've ran hundreds of miles with each other. I mean, probably thousands at this point, but I'm not counting. But it's just. It's exciting because we finally get to leave it all out. Yeah.
Awesome. Great stuff. Well, do want to touch on academics with each of you. It's, your senior year, you're heading towards, walking across that stage and graduating and so forth. Zoe, what have you been working on academically? What's your degree going to be in?
I've been working on finishing my biology degree. I'm hoping to do something medical as well as maybe some coaching along the sides, but I haven't really figured out yet what exactly I want to do. But I'm looking forward to the path ahead of me.
Very good. And Devin, what have you been working on?
Yeah, I'm a business and psychology major, and I'm gonna go straight into real estate.
Very good. Yeah. So it's interesting combo there, business and psychology. You could probably, use the two as a pretty compelling combination there in real estate. Very good. Well, it's been great to get to know you. Best of luck heading into the USA South Conference Cross Country Championships. We can't wait for that to happen. We got a few weeks, so you guys are going to be working hard behind the scenes, sort of the thankless part of it, where you're there grinding. But really a fun time of year to follow cross country, and encourage folks to, check out the conference championships in a couple weeks at Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Before we let you go, Zoe Capps, any shout outs or thank yous?
Yes, sir. I'd like to thank my mom and my brother for always being there, and my coaches, especially DP, for putting up with me over the last few years, and my teammates. But all in all glory goes to God and for getting me to this point. So, yes.
Very good. Devin, shout outs?
Yeah, my longtime girlfriend, Autumn, just being supportive and always going to meets.
Very good. Concise. Well done, Devin Broadmeyer. Well, it's great to have both of you on the program. Great job, so far this season. Looking forward to those conference championships. And keep up the great work both on and off the trails, Devin and Zoe. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you.
All right, that wraps up another edition of Tornado Talk. We really appreciate all of our guests from women's soccer, football, and cross country. Big thanks to our producer tonight, Sports Information Director Joseph Marvin, and also production support from Emily Denega and Cassidy Hutto. All sorts of action this week. Make sure you tune in tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. on the YouTube channel. We'll be bringing you the preview press conference for the Brevard College cycling team as they head to the national championships this week in mountain bikes. For all of us at Brevard College, thanks for tuning in for another edition of Tornado Talk.